We have more rate cuts as well as T-bill buying coming soon. And as of right now, silver and gold is trending upward. So clearly it's obvious that with the Fed being divided, there's confusion amongst those that have manipulated our money supply for quite some time now. And so the question is, how will this unwind and what can we expect for 2026? And that, my friends, is something worth talking about. All right, so I want to take a minute, share some thoughts in reference to just some recent developments over the last 24 or 48 hours, and I'll continue to shine light on what I believe is most important. And it's not necessarily price per se, but it's about possession of what I consider to be the most important medium at this time, given that the issuers of this liability here, they're having some issues within their own group there. And it's good to say that their issues will only impact their decision making moving forward at the speed at which they're going to cut rates. And of course, cutting rates basically means the cutting the money printers back on, or as I like to say, tapping the spigot. And the more that the spigot is cut on, the more liquidity provided. Therefore, we can anticipate more of the risk on assets probably trending upward, just because we know we have an administration that's hard pressed on asset price valuations and asset price inflation for the illusion of making it appear that everyone is wealthy. But in actuality, it's just a matter of losing purchasing power. So literally, they're going to inflate away the debt while creating an illusion of wealth via asset prices. And in between all that will be the holders of real tangible wealth in the form of gold and silver. So as always, I want to share my 2 cents, long-winded intro, but for those that want to check in and definitely share your thoughts, if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button, drop a comment down below, let me know your thoughts on what you're keeping an eye on. And also, if you're new, make sure you subscribe and tap that bell so you'll be notified when I put out more of these little quick takes here. But I want to jump right into it and share my 2 cents on what I believe is very important because it tells us a lot. Here we have an article from yesterday. It says, divided Fed approves a third rate cut this year, sees slower pace ahead. And so for those who had a chance to actually check out the Jerome Powell spiel yesterday, a lot of their metrics is based upon future predictions and what they call the dot plot. And so is what their board of FOMC members see the likelihood scenario of things playing out in the future. So they call themselves trying to give a sense of confidence to the markets as well as to those that tune in that everything is under control, that they have all the tools they need to make sure they make the sound decisions for moving forward. But when you have a president that's hard pressed and basically calling out this current Fed chairman saying that he's incompetent, he's incapable, and the president wants more cuts, you wouldn't need all these cuts if the economy was as great as they want us to think that it is. And so clearly that's the signs of stress. Therefore, the whole illusion of this economy being strong is a lie. It's a facade. And so literally, if you look at all the indicators on the back end, we're already in a recession. We've been in one for quite some time now, and it's becoming harder to hide that. So they're going to call for more rate cuts. And so literally, by cutting rates from 4 down to 3.5-ish to 3.25, all that tells us is that they're trying to provide accommodative policy moving forward for the sake of not allowing things to slow down. They need this wheel of debt to continue to pick up. If not, something's going to pop. A bubble's going to burst somewhere. And of course, we got the debt issuance that's coming due pretty soon. We have commercial real estate that's in problems. We got homes throughout the different pockets of our country is also having problems. So literally, it's becoming harder for them to hide the mess. And so what a president is currently hard-pressed on getting rate cuts and installing a new Fed chair soon that will cut rates, the question is, how low will they have to cut them before the people realize that literally this is the last great cut before what? And that's where gold and silver comes into play. And because it's as I say, we're in the midst of a monetary reset, it's good to say that there are a lot of players that are aware of this and taking advantage of the opportunities that present themselves with gold and silver. And so literally, let me just share with you something that you will not hear from the mainstream media, but you need to be aware of. So here's an article out of the Economic Times that came out 2 days ago. And so it's entitled, is JP Morgan hoarding silver? Here's what it means as report claims the bank has been stockpiling the precious metals. And so here you have a picture of Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, the bank. And as much as he has become a public figure, he's been very outspoken, saying that the government's debt is unsustainable, all that stuff like that. If you've been following and listening to his narrative for quite some time, he's been telling us that the debt is unsustainable. And while telling us all that stuff, it appears that, according to information here, that his bank is now the largest silver holder that we are aware of. And just to give you an idea of what's going on, it says JP Morgan is going long on silver and making history, since the bank now holds over 750 million ounces of physical silver, the largest stockpile in the world. It says in just 6 weeks, it had added 21 million ounces. That's a staggering move in a market already under pressure. It says between June and October, JP Morgan reportedly sold off its entire 200 million ounce paper short position. It says this freed cash to acquire physical silver, leaving the bank long in both physical and paper silver for the first time ever. Experts say this is a rare and powerful market position. And so literally, we have a too big to fail bank out here positioning themselves for clearly something that's going to be very disruptive. And so with all the debt, with all the concerns of the Fed being divided and the idea of rate cuts coming and the creation of new currency as the QE or monetary spigot is cut back on, you have a too big to fail bank sitting on what is reported as the largest stockpile of silver at a time where silver has been suppressed substantially for so long, people don't even realize that it was once in our currency years and years ago or decades ago. And just to give you an idea as to where and how far we've come, let's just zoom out over the last 20 years, just for the sake of an example here for those who might be new. So here on the screen, you have the chart action of physical silver going back to 2006. So in January 11th, 2006, an ounce of silver was $8.95. And of course, we've gone through a couple periods, and in particular, the GFC era where it got up to about 40, says on here, it says 40.6, $40.06. And depending on your source, it might be higher. But here we are today at an all-time high where it is at this current moment, $62.70. And so from $8 to $62, and one of the most systemically important banks deciding to take a long position and acquiring the most silver that we are aware of, that right there is a sign that something is occurring. They're protecting themselves, and they're also going to be a benefactors of the money monetary spigot when it's cut back on. So literally, we're in a world where the banks that have been suppressing the price for so long deliberately have also been acquiring to protect themselves from what is underway right now. And so for the average Joe and Jane, they may know nothing about silver. And that's why there's so much more upside for silver and in gold and anything tangible and real, especially a monetary metal. And that's why I want to continue to remind people to get your weight up, do the best you can. And if you are new to the channel or someone happens to stumble along this video, I want to give you a chance to test yourself from a monetary literacy standpoint. How well do you know silver? So beneath this video, there's an opportunity for you to take a quick 15-question quiz to see where you stand as far as your knowledge bank when it comes to silver and how it's been related to our country since its founding. I think you'll be very surprised at some of the things that you'll learn here. But once again, click the link in the description. Take the quiz. I'll be curious to get your thoughts and, of course, see your results. And then once you're done, come back and post your score in the comment section. Let's get some interaction down in the comment section. Definitely love to do that. And as always, for those who are checking in, don't want to just give you all this information, but I'll also provide some resources. And with that, I'll leave you with this. Sick of watching your savings lose value? Now's the time to get your weight up. Visit the RTD Silver Team Store and either start stacking silver or add to your current silver stack. Because by getting the people's money, you're protecting tomorrow by stacking today. Click the link in the description to find out more information. Looking for ways to get affordable gold? Then it might be time to redeem your Federal Reserve notes to spendable 24-karat gold notes. It's real value you can control, and it's a great way to protect yourself against inflation. To get yourself some, go to buygoldnotes.com or click the link in the description. And last, if you're looking for alternative banking, look no further than UPMA Precious Metals. As you know, banks aren't protecting your money. They're actually using your deposits to extend loans, which expands the monetary base and offer you pennies and interest. Get back to traditional banking by opening up a free UPMA Metals account where you actually get to save in physical gold and silver in a vault with your name on it. To find out more, go to bit.com/gold silver banking or click the link in the description for more information.